Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. This is going to be our divisional round recap reaction to a really great divisional round. It's been a really great start to the playoffs, man. Roger Goodell is cooking. All the games have basically came down to the wire, except the Seahawks and 49ers game, which we're going to talk about last because, I mean, who really wants to talk about whatever that was? But three excellent games, and they were all like different, versions of excellent games. Like the Patriots and Texans, the Slugfest, one of the worst offensive performances collectively I've seen from two teams. Like it was terrible. Or maybe we should be saying one of the best defensive performances we've seen collectively for two teams. Either way, it was I wouldn't say it was a hard watch, but the offense was a hard watch. The defense was fun, and so overall, it was a fun game. And the Texans had a chance to win with about 10 minutes left in the game. And then the Rams and Bears overtime thriller. Caleb Williams made one of the best plays probably in NFL history in that game. Obviously, it didn't come down. That's Isn't that one of the best ever? You think it's one of the best ever?
No, go ahead.
No, it was. I think it was one of the best ever. But amazing play from Caleb. Obviously, they didn't get it done. We'll talk about that first up here, and then the Bills fall short again. Since they rose to prominence in 2020, it's been basically 5, 6 years of being close but not close enough. So we'll talk about that as well. Before we get into it, make sure you guys like the video, comment your reaction to the games, whoever you support this weekend, and then follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen. So let's get into it, man. The Rams, they won an overtime thriller against the Bears, 20-17. We both picked the Rams in this game, but we did not give much of a chance to the Bears to win this game. And I think they impressed the both of us, I would assume. So let's start there. Q, what did you see from the Bears in this game that had them knocking on the door of the NFC Championship game for the first time in a very long time? And what were you surprised by? And how did they ultimately, not get it done, I guess?
From the Bears, this game, they pretty much did what they did all season. Pretty much inconsistencies through the first half, even sometimes trickling into the third, and then explosive offense in the fourth quarter. From Caleb, from the different play call, like the more free play from them in the fourth quarter, which allows them to like not be on script and not be guarded as sufficiently, and then they come back and do the amazing things like you've seen today. But I didn't think the defense was going to play as well as it did today, and they really hooped. They got to Matt Stafford. They pressured him and sacked him about 4 times. He didn't get a touchdown. He had some errant throws, some almost interceptions, a whole lot of things going on. Something from this Chicago Bears defense that we pretty much didn't see all year. So I think that was a good sign. Overall, it's pretty much it was a decent game considering not the high scoring match that we thought it was. Vegas had this at like over under 52. They didn't even crack 40. So that was a surprise. Ultimately, the better team won. We knew this was going to happen. Wasn't really a Matt Stafford game. It was more of a defensive game. Young Caleb Williams, things like that. Things happened. They made a play, and they was able to seal it. Puka, Matt Stafford first down, field goal, walk out here with a dub, going to Seattle. I think decent game. So, yeah, props to Caleb. Like you said, one of the greatest throws. He's probably had 2 of the 3 best throws of the season, and they all came within like the last month. So that just shows the mentor that he got, how he is, like the cardiac bears. Like he embodies that. Just resilient. I wouldn't take too much of it. The pick was bad, but you make your mistakes. His second playoff game ever at home. I mean, they was playing with house money. All they could do was look up for next year, hone some things in, and Caleb could really be making a stamp with like the next 2 years of like being a like top echelon quarterback in this league.
Yeah, I think that as well. I've said on here multiple times that I've always believed in Caleb's talent. I think he just needs to work on all this like playing and structure, which he got a lot better at obviously this season. And then just accuracy. Sometimes the ball sails. Sometimes he puts it behind his receivers. But I thought tonight the Bears did what it took to win this game. To be honest, though they did have some costly drops for sure. I thought that Ben Johnson was a little bit too aggressive in the first half with going for it on fourth down, and they had like I think 3 trips in the red zone where they didn't get points. That's that last one in the fourth quarter where he went for it. I'm not mad at that one. On like second thought, I'm not mad on it because that they were deep in their own territory. The Rams were, and they needed to. They were obviously going to be conservative, so obviously the Bears will get the ball back with a chance to win the game. And obviously it worked out as well. So I think the process was good, and the results obviously was good as well. I think the Bears, I really didn't give the Bears much of a chance in this game because I thought that their defense would get steamrolled by the Rams offense. And credit to them, Dennis Allen did an amazing job calling the game. He simulated a lot of pressure. He sent a lot of blitz at the Rams. He pretty much called the game like he did to end the Packers game where they held the Packers 6 points. And it worked a lot against the team. They got pressure on Matthew Stafford. They hurried him up in the pocket a lot, and he's very old and not mobile, so kind of threw his timing off. I thought that Matthew Stafford was pretty bad today. A lot of his passes were very inaccurate, and he didn't handle pressure well at all, which I'm not expecting him to at this age. But I think he's bad under pressure, and I think he was very inaccurate today. I think the box score numbers say that as well. But just watching him, he was very inaccurate.
Like 48%.
Yeah. But yeah, the Bears stuck to their game plan pretty well, and I think it threw off the Rams' offense. Offensively, I think they moved the ball pretty well throughout this game. They just weren't able to finish drives, whether it was a penalty or a drop pass or an inaccurate pass from Caleb or interception, like we saw 3 times throughout this game. They were not able to finish drives, and Caleb made that miraculous play, and you saw flashes throughout this entire season of the quarterback he can be in this league, and I think he probably will be in this league. He just has to hone in on that talent and make it it has to be the counter to being a in structure, accurate, on time quarterback. And I think he made strides this year. But once he hones all that, and then you have like the best quarterback in the league in terms of escaping sacks and avoiding sacks. I think he is that right now in his league. If he can hone in all the fundamental stuff and the accuracy stuff, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league because he went from one of the worst quarterbacks in terms of taking sacks to being one of the best at avoiding sacks in the second year. He has a natural playmaking ability. We saw it when he got out of the pocket in this game as well. So all in all, the Bears had to be extremely happy with the season. Obviously, it was a heartbreaking loss in the end, but I don't want to. They were kind of like playing with house money. I mean, not many expected them to get this far, and obviously expectations change as you go on in the season. But this was a hell of a year 2 for Caleb Williams, and this was a hell of a year 1 for Ben Johnson. And the future is extremely bright. They have a lot of young talent. They have a lot of young talent, and they know where they need to fix as far as the holes. They have holes in the secondary. They don't have any pass rushers, like really whatsoever. But they have a great running game, and they'll probably have a great running game as long as Ben Johnson is there. They have what we think could be a franchise quarterback. They have multiple weapons on the outside that should aid that franchise quarterback. So they have a proof of concept. They have a way forward with this team, and I think the future is as bright as it's been in the 21st century with the Bears. I don't think it's ever been this bright for them, from my memory. So I mean, I wasn't alive when I was alive when they made it to Super Bowl in 2006, but I wasn't cognizant.
That team was like an older team, or like they were probably all in their prime. This team doesn't really have a lot of like prime players. A lot of them are young, like the main culprits. But yeah, like you said, as long as he gets the easy stuff down, quarterback in this league is 80% of the 85% of the on target, like the on script plays types thing. It's the other 15% that Caleb naturally got that makes him have a high ceiling. Should be a top 5 quarterback by the end of the year. At least the best quarterback in the NFC by the end of next year, as long as he keeps up the progression.
Yeah. So as far as the Rams, though, Their offense is it's produced. Like they had 34 points against the Panthers. But I would definitely be somewhat skeptical going into the Seahawks game because Matthew Stafford hasn't looked like an MVP candidate through 2 games. Like the MVP candidate he did in the regular season. He's been inaccurate and has struggled with pressure as well throughout both of these playoff games. So,
I think that's because he's 30. That he's 37. I'm not trying to excuse him for the bad play, but like once the play breaks down, since he doesn't have that extra gear, that extra step, the extra playmaking, it's just you live and die by Stafford arm, and in the playoffs, it's even smaller margin of error for that. And just so happened that you still got Puka and Devontae with Sean McVay. You still got 4 great tight ends, 2 running backs, so it's like a little bit easier.
Yeah. The running game was whenever they went to it was pretty successful, especially in the second half. Kyron Williams and why am I booking his name? Blake Corum was productive, and I think that's one of the weak points of the Bears defense. But again, just great season from the Bears, and they definitely defied my expectations in this game. And so I'm excited to see where they're going to go going forward. Dennis Allen, I think he's obviously he can be a good coordinator when he gets the talent on his roster. So yeah, that's that. Great game, heartbreaking way to end it. So I know a lot of people in the city are heartbroken, but I think over the next few days they'll like realize how great of a season was. All right, let's move on. The Patriots won a slugfest. Again, it was one of the worst offensive games I've ever seen. I think Drake May had 5 turnovers. I think that what's his name? CJ Stroud had 5 turnovers.
It's 3 turnovers. He had 5 of them. They only recover like 2 of the fumbles.
Okay.
Yeah. Either way, he put the ball on the floor like 5 times though. So.
Yeah, it was a very sloppy offensive game from both teams. Obviously, Drake May converted about 3 drives that were really good from him. So he got it going and they got the win. Let's start broad, Q, and talk about why both of these offenses struggled so much in this game.
For the Patriots, I think it's easy to understand exactly why they struggled in this game. The last 2 games per se, because it's not like when it comes to talking NFL schedule in terms of like the MVP things, like I'm not going to get into. I wouldn't use that. Like I never use that argument because that doesn't really do much for me because he's still uplifting a bad roster because it's an easy schedule without Drake. The rosters are kind of similar, so you have to uplift, and that's what he did. But it's like a tale for like in moments like these when you didn't see Drake really play bad games all season or like have multi-turnover games, and then you play like upper echelon teams or defense per se, and then things get a little rattled. Obviously, he's able to shake it off because he's a quick learner. So second halves, he's gotten better in both games. So like you've seen that. But once things start like the pressure with the O-line and things like that, you start getting hit. Seeing he's turnover. First interceptions is up in the air, but it's mostly the sacks and the fumbles that really like kind of hurt him. But he's bounced back from those and he was able to still produce. For the Texans, I want to say it has a lot to do with Nico Collins, but CJ was also making horrible mistakes. He was throwing ducks. He probably got one of his teammates hurt. He looked rushed. He looked scared. He looked panicked. I didn't think the Patriots.
Probably he did.
Yeah. I don't think anybody thought the Patriots D line would be able to do that to the Texans or CJ Stroud, but they also do have a bad line. But it's just we didn't think that was going to happen based off like I guess quote unquote CJ's pedigree. But it was a horrible game for him. Horrible playoffs in general for CJ. I just didn't think we was going to expect that. I thought the Houston Texans defense to keep in the game, which they did basically for 3.5 quarters. And like you just needed 17 points from the Texans offense for them to win this game, and they weren't able to do that. CJ had 4 turnovers, and they were still, I think, within 4 with like a quarter left. Like CJ pretty much lit the game on fire. Like he was the issue with the offense. I'm not gonna. There was some drops. Higgins had some drops. Stover, backup tight end, had some drops. But it was really on CJ. I put this on CJ completely.
The Texans in this game, they needed CJ. They needed CJ to be above. The Texans in this game, they needed CJ to be below average. Like make this below average. Like below average would have got this done. Honestly, like his margin for error was ridiculous in this game. They had about 3 turnovers at a point, and they were down 4. They were still in striking distance in the fourth quarter, and he had turned the ball over about 5 times already. They literally just needed him to be average. I know he was under immense pressure. I know his number 1 wide receiver was down. I know his number 1 tight end was down. His running back was injured at a point. But his decision-making in this game was awful. His pocket presence was awful. He is not mobile whatsoever, which hurts him when he needs to scramble or just go for a run. So this game just gives like the Texans organization a tough decision to make this offseason. They have to pay Will Anderson, and then he's also going to be up for an extension. But to this point, I don't think he's earned it. He had that one great rookie year, and then since then, the context around him hasn't been great. The offensive line has been poor since he's been drafted. The weapons room hasn't been great since he's been drafted. He's had 2 offensive coordinators in 3 seasons. So I understand that context, but he also has not earned he hasn't earned his keep to this point. Like I still kind of believe in CJ Stroud. I think he can be a good quarterback in this league. I don't think he's a lost cause at all, but to this point in his career, he's been a below average quarterback. To be honest, like more often than not, he's been a below average quarterback. And I think that's just the objective truth. So they have a big decision to make because I think they're going to pick up his 5th-year option. They're not going to give him Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, Brock Purdy money, obviously with how he's playing. But again, just to speak to this performance, it was just very, very bad. You don't have the words to explain how bad it was because I've never seen a quarterback have this margin of error. And still, well, maybe nah. I would say Trevor Lawrence, but when he threw 4 picks, but his defense wasn't performing like Trevor Lawrence. I mean, like CJ Stroud was. Like they had one of the best probably playoff performances on the defense ever, only rivaled by the Patriots. And he couldn't get it done whatsoever. They got interception. He gave it right back to them. Like I don't know. His defense gave him good fields, good field position. He couldn't get it done.
This defense was statistically one of the greatest defenses of all time. The only reason why it's not going to be put in that conversation is because they didn't win, like at least make it to the AFC Championship game because those other defenses were able to because their quarterback didn't light the game on fire.
Yeah, so CJ, I'm not rooting for you, but I think you're still going to be. I'm not a fan of him. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
I think he can be a good quarterback. Like especially coming out, like I didn't perceive, like I didn't know like accuracy would be an issue for him, and that's been an issue since he's been in the league. Accuracy's been an issue since
he's never been like above 65%. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know why that's like. I figure like coming out, I'm like CJ can make a like basically every throw inside the pocket.
He has ball like he has. It's like he has good ball placement when he makes the right decision. He just doesn't always make the right decision, so the ball placement don't match it. I don't know. I've been on the CJ Stroud Texans thing kind of like early since like last year when they were the new hot team and like, oh, they can make the AFC Championship game now because they were so good his rookie year. It's just I kind of seen this coming down the road based on how the team was built offensively. Defensively, obviously, they you can't say nothing about the defense, but offensively, they might have to go get another offensive coordinator. They have to again revamp the O-line. They have to get another wide receiver in there, another running back. They, like you said, they got to try to pay people. So it's like they have like a slim margin to try to get better in a division that might be getting better. Who's already has a team that I think is better than them in there already, and the culture like they figure out quarterback. Then it's tough sledding for CJ.
Yeah. That was my next question. What should they do this offseason? But yeah, I think they need another weapon on the outside, probably in a slot to make life easier for or CJ. Dalton Schultz is pretty good this year, really good this year. They need to revamp this offense. Well, like we say that every year, but they need to really because CJ is not mobile and his pocket presence is already not great. So you have to get him a steady offensive line because I do think he can make throws and dice teams up if he has the time. But once he gets pressured, and he gets rattled, you saw what happened. Like today, he looked miserable. Like he looked on the verge of tears throughout this whole game. He looked,
It was Jared Goff-esque. And I
yeah.
say that because like that was his comp coming out. Like he's Jared Goff with like obviously a little bit more mobility. Maybe because he's black. I don't know if that was a race thing, but that's what they said. I said the same thing earlier. Jared Goff, Joe Burrow, CJ. I think they were like all the same kind of quarterback. Obviously, I think CJ Stroud could probably move a little bit better than the other two. I think Joe Burrow's like obviously an extremely better passer, but I don't see especially right now, I don't see much difference between him and Jared Goff because they're both limited and when they get pressured, they're hot garbage.
I think this is a crushing loss because you obviously have a championship level defense, and I feel like that's understating it. Like this is one of the best units of the 21st century, and you're wasting it year after year because your offense is so inept. In this game, it just hurts. It hurts because of how well they played and how bad the offense played, just like undermined that totally. So, again, they had to maximize his window with CJ Stroud and his rookie contract, and they have been able to do it. And if he's not good enough, that's a killer, obviously, because then D'Amico's job is like, you don't get too long in this league. You got to pay Will Anderson Jr. But at this point, this offseason, they shouldn't even like think about negotiating with CJ. Give Will Anderson Jr. whatever he wants. Try to fix this offensive line through the draft, maybe get another weapon, and then go all in next year because the window with a team and a defense this great is very, very short, and they're going to spoil it if they don't. If the offense can't drastically improve, I think they probably need a new. I mean, I don't hate the play calling this year, but not sold on it either. So we'll see what they do with that. I could definitely see them like firing him though. The offense definitely looked better over the course of the season, but the opponents they played weren't great. So
and D'Amico might have to call plays next year because Matt Burke might end up leaving. Since Matt Burke is the defensive play caller, he might end up getting a job somewhere else. Not as a head coach, but he'll probably have another DC job somewhere that might be better for him since he get out of D'Amico because he is fielding calls right now. So things could be looking different in Houston next year.
Yeah, as far as the Patriots, though, I mean, I think it was an awful game from Drake May. He had troubles protecting the ball, filling when pressure was coming. The offensive line was a turnstile, which I expected. This is the best defensive line in the league, but they have to do better. They have to do better because the Broncos' defense is up there as well. And I know they have Jarrett Stidham, but I can see the game being similar if they don't, improve. I thought Drake had drives when he made really good throws over the middle of the field with zip. That pass to Boutte was excellent, right on the money, and great catch by him. So he had enough drives to where he was better than CJ Stroud, but he's very, very lucky, very, very lucky that CJ Stroud was on the other end of the field today. With Sean Payton, even though Jarrett Stidham, with Sean Payton is going to look better, I would assume, because I mean Jarrett Stidham isn't like I haven't even seen enough film of him to have an opinion, but he's been there for years. I'm sure he knows the system, and Sean Payton is one of the best play callers in NFL history. So I think they're gonna be better than CJ Stroud and the Texans were today. So he has to up his level, and the Patriots as a whole have to have better play calling, better protection, or they could be upset next week in the AFC Championship game. I think. All right, let's talk about the Bills. Came up with short again, this time versus the Broncos. Josh Allen, I think 4 interceptions, 4 turnovers.
Two interceptions, 2 fumbles.
4 turnovers in this game, in a 3-point game. Throws the interception to Brandon Cooks at the end of the game. Missed that pass to Dawson Knox, I believe, at the end of regulation. And then obviously the Broncos with the walk-off field goal to advance to the AFC Championship game. We'll talk about the Bills first, then get to the Broncos and their chances, I guess, going forward in this game. Q, who is the most to blame for the Bills losing in this game?
I ain't about to come up here and give you a whole bunch of I will break down this context later, but I ain't about to sugarcoat it. Obviously, Josh Allen is the biggest to blame. He had 4 turnovers, uncharacteristic. 4 in a game. This is his second worst playoff game. Against the Broncos, it's like a level head can explain it away. This is a top 10 unit, top 5 unit. You know what I'm saying? On the road, underdogs, whatever. You can say all those things, but it's just you're better. You had the plays to be made, and they were there. Almost 300. About 350 total yards. Still had 3 touchdowns, but it's 25 or 39 of those 14 throws. All those were either misses or interceptions to wide receivers not named Khalil Shakir, tight ends, or running backs. So obviously, those things weren't working. Throwing to the wide receivers, they should have been doing that because that's where things tend to have gotten wrong for them. Timing also mattered. I know a lot of people harped on the fumble before the half, right before the half, that led to 3 points. I understand that, but I think other things also matter. Maybe it's not the turnover itself, but like you said, the Dawson Knox play. I think that's more detrimental than that 3-point turnover because they won the game right there. If he hits Dawson Knox, that's he's either walking in for a touchdown, fighting off 2 defenders, or he's down at the 3-yard line. They're gonna push 4 times, bang, game over. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. The Brandon Cooks controversial play, going to be a talking point, especially since there was another controversial play in this past game with the same type of situation. You could say if he leads them up, there is no interception because he doesn't have to fight for the ball. He's walking it down, either again for a touchdown or they're getting a field goal to walk off and win the game. Again, a whole lot of missed opportunities. This is on Josh. He knows it's on Josh. Everybody knows it's on Josh. It's going to be a long offseason for him. This one hurts. I never subscribed to this being his best chance because obviously he would have to walk through 3 top 10 defenses on the road. That's hard for anybody to do. That doesn't just happen. We've seen that happen probably one time ever, close. So yeah, he gonna own this one. Okay. Shout out to Bo Nix though. Great game. Outplayed Josh Allen in his building. Feel bad for him. Broke the ankle. Can't play for the rest of the playoffs after a historic game for him. It's tough. Go back to the drawing board. I think the Bills need to have some conversations inside.
Yeah, man. I think at some point with the Bills, it gets to a point you can't see this same story happen over and over and over again. It's been happening since 2020, basically. They're just always close, but not close enough. Their defense, especially their pass defense, is good all year, and then when it comes down to the playoffs, they get fried. But in this game, Josh Allen just wasn't good enough. This game was definitely on Josh Allen. I don't think that it should be any debate about why the Bills lost this game. He was incredibly reckless in this game. The underthrow for interception was very bad. The fumble before the half was inexcusable from him, and I think that was just a bad game management play from Sean McDermott as well. I understand I guess you trust your quarterback, give him a chance to throw a bomb, but don't even put him in that position to do it in the first place. But I will say though, Josh Allen is a pretty good playoff performer. He is the second best playoff performer in the league, but in certain spots he just has not made the plays. This isn't the first game where he overthrew somebody or underthrew somebody or made a costly interception at a time in his game. And while he is great, he hasn't proven to just make the play in the right moment since the 13-second game. It's come at the some of the worst moments that they can in his career. So he has to figure out how to get over that hump, because he has all the talent in the world, and if he just plays better, like he outplays both, he doesn't even need to outplay both Knicks. He just doesn't need to have those costly turnovers, and they win his game. I think the Bills' rushing game was great, as we predicted to be in this game. They're moving the ball on the run, especially in the outside. James Cook had a really great day, even after his fumble. Their offensive line, which is way too big for the Broncos' defensive line, and it really showed. So outside of the fumble, it's like sometimes when they put the ball in Josh Allen in this game, he gave the game away. And it's like if they would have ran the ball a little bit more, they would have fared better, especially on that underthrow, that kind of interception, because they were driving. They were running the ball really well on that drive.
They were moving the ball well. Like outside of the 5 turnovers collectively, they literally went up and down the field on the Broncos.
Yeah,
they punted like one time.
Yeah, but on that drive specifically, it's like they were driving. They had momentum. They had just got an interception off of Bo Nix's to the pass to the lineman. You didn't need to take that shot. You just didn't need to take the shot. I think that even though Josh is very, very talented, his situational awareness is still in the works. Even though he's in like year 8 or whatever, year 9, he still has that like roller coaster, like sporadic mentality and play style to him. He's a gunslinger. He still is. Like, even though he's become a lot more restrained, a lot more methodical, a lot more cerebral, he still has like the tendency to make a boneheaded play when he doesn't need to. When he just needs to go down. He'll fight for yards when he doesn't need to.
That's a common a common thing for those type of quarterbacks. The Brett Favre's, the Matthew Stafford's, like the arrogant, arrogant in a good way, not like, you know what I'm saying, arrogant arm throw, like I could make every throw, I could do this. Like on the underthrow, he underthrew it. Josh Allen has the top 2 arm in the league. Like he could throw it. Like when he threw that, he didn't like he did a fake, like he did a fake pump fake, and when he threw it like without like effortlessly, like wasn't really trying. He flipped it and it got in the vicinity without him trying. Like, so like he didn't think nothing of it, and PJ Locke comes, undercuts it, and now you got another turnover because you wasn't taking the play serious.
I think the Superman aspect of Josh Allen's game is a blessing and a curse, because obviously he can carry a team without a lot of talent on it. But sometimes he tries to do too much, and that's what we saw, I think, this weekend. So as far as the Bills' outlook, I do think that, firing Sean McDermott has to be on the table. I mean, I don't know how many years he has to continuously fail. I don't know. Like, the Bills' defense has never ever got a stop to win a game. I've never seen that in my life. Like, they've never got a stop.
3rd and 10. They had a chance to get off the field. 3 people in a zone under Cortland Sutton, nobody next to him. Like, they could have got off the field and through all the warts, through all the bad, like, because again, this is all on Josh Allen. But there was a bunch of plays to be made. Like, first drive of the game, Larry Ogunjobi offsides on a fumble recovery that still led to 3, but could have took those points off the board completely. Squandered. Pass interference. Missed assignment. That third, like a whole lot of things. The last drive, I'm not gonna like get it too up in arms about the 2 back-to-back PIs. Like, I'm not like the flag police like that, so I don't really care. But defense had some chance to make their calling card too, especially under the defensive head coach, and it wasn't done as well. Again, still on Josh Allen though.
Yeah. Like I said, the Bills defense, whenever they need to get stuff, has never done it in the playoffs. I've never seen that in my life. Like, they're the most unclutched defense ever. In terms of the Broncos, though, like, Bo Nix totally earned my respect after this game, outplaying a top 3 quarterback in the league. I think pretty clearly in the playoffs is special. He makes really, really good throws, and I think that the Broncos players kind of failed him a bit because they dropped touchdowns, they dropped passes. He definitely had a lot of time to throw the ball, but he delivered accurate balls. He made some big time throws, and he uses his legs. So obviously a crushing into a story, like a fairy tale story for him with breaking his ankle, and hopefully he makes a full recovery. I know he has to be crushed that he can't play in the AFC Championship game, but completely earned my respect after this game. Not sold that they have like a franchise quarterback where he's going to be like taking them to Super Bowls or like have them consistently in contention. But Bo Nix can obviously play in this league. He can start in this league, and he can give you he can be an average to an above average starter in this league. I don't know how good he can be, but he can play in this league for a long time. Yeah, he could. I don't think he's not as good as Brock. No. He's not as good as Brock was early in his career.
He's already a better athlete though, so that'll help.
But yeah, Bo Nix is
game is what
I would say he's a good quarterback, and Sean Payton believes in him. That's pretty clear. I mean, he said this was one of the best teams he's ever had, and I mean, can you really blame him at this point? They're in the Super. They're on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, and we don't know if they're going to get there because Jarrett Stidham is the quarterback. But if Bo Nix stays healthy, he has a lot of like proof of concept to that being true. And honestly, bro, if Bo Nix healthy, I might have picked Broncos for sure. Like I might have picked the Broncos because
there's a lot of things that
I don't think Bo Nix performs that bad as C.J. Stroud did.
No. Not at home. Not at home. Not with that crowd. Not with the defense. Not with Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Like it's D'Amico Ryans and then we talk about Sean Payton. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's like a different thing. Better, drastically better O-line. Like drastically better O-line. Defense is a little bit worse than the Houston did, but that's still a top unit. You know what I'm saying? Like Bo Nix is just not gonna do that. Sean Payton tries his hardest to allow him to not get there. So yeah, that's tough. And the Bills, like I said, they got Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott. They should not be in the building. Like they should be gone by Tuesday, really by Monday. Like tomorrow by 12 o'clock when we both, BS in the disco, whatever the case may be, we should get that Schefter rap sheet. Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott have been fired. Cole Brian Daboll, he's out there still. He's taking OC jobs. He's like hometown. This is where he's from. Worked well with Josh Allen. Greatest years. That's his guy. Like they could reset and pretty much have a coach for the next 10 years. Offensive mind, something real consistent. Hone him in, keep him grounded and whatnot. With all that being said, though, bad performance. 15 games. Touchdowns to turnovers is still 39 to 10. That's still great ratio. That's number one all time. Huh? No, that included the turnovers. I said all touchdowns and turnovers. We're still great. We're still best all time, maybe.
Seahawks stumped out the 49ers. It's like all the injuries. Saw that just caught up to the 49ers against a defense that's good. They couldn't get away with it. We got to spend a lot of time on this. Let's just talk about the entire season for the 49ers and where they go from here, basically, because I think Purdy was great this year. The circumstances wasn't good at all, but he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league this season. He turned the ball over, obviously in this game and against the Eagles as well in the playoffs, but it seems like every year with the 49ers, they're just cursed by injury every single year. I don't know what's going on with the athletic training staff. It is ridiculous. But it's tough, bro, because they have what it takes to be contenders, to win Super Bowls. I think Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in the league, obviously. A top 3 coach in the NFL. Brock Purdy, I think, is good enough. If you have a good enough team around Brock Purdy, he can win a Super Bowl. I think he can. Especially like in the league with this much parity. I mean, clearly, like a lot of teams get there.
That's what the league is. Very evolution is natural. As time goes on, we are supposed to get bigger, faster, stronger. That's just science. So like when we start talking about errors and things like that, and people want to shit on the old and whatever the case may be. Old people want to talk on the new. We're just bigger, faster, stronger. That's just what's supposed to happen. So the league is a lot different. I say they have all the. You're right. They have all the pieces to win a Super Bowl. They have great head coach. Left, well, he's not a prime left tackle, but you had a great left tackle for just in the run itself. Great head coach, great left tackle, top edge rusher, great weapon. Like those are 4 of the 5 ingredients you need to win a Super Bowl in this league. Obviously, the last one would be quarterback, but usually that quarterback tends to be of the top 10 variety, more like top 5 variety throughout history. But Kyle Shanahan, we tend to like throw that aside when it comes to like these great offenses because they just just because they we've seen that they give the perfect floor, and as long as you're able to hit the right play and things like that, which Purdy can do, everything will work. You'll be up 21 by third quarter and be able to run the ball out and lead the game. Like that's just how they were built, and we seen that work up until like overtime in the Super Bowl. You face Patrick Mahomes, so it's like there's not much you can really say. But the way they play so hard. I'm not gonna get into the conspiracy, but like just playing so hard like that, back to back, deep, going through deep like playoff runs over and over again. That's like wear and tear on the body. It's tough to keep going through that to not get the big one, and then want to come back and do it the next year and throw your body on the line again. Especially with something like CMC, where they ran through the ground this year, wasn't efficient on the ground, but he was just their whole offense. They weren't really selling out to stop anyone. Especially there's no Ayuk, there's no Pearsall, no Kittle for stretches. CMC, Demarcus Robinson, and Kendrick Bourne off the street. Like he was great this year. And Purdy was great. I feel for him. Money's an issue. They're gonna have to retool. It kind of seems like the Seahawks just passed them by. I'm kind of worried about what their future gonna look like. They got to do some things in that building as well.
Yeah. It's just been unfortunate. I think that the 49ers are a great example of your window is a lot shorter than what you think it is because for like the last 5 years now, they've had teams that are the caliber of a team that can win a Super Bowl, and they just haven't been able to get it done. And I think that it's going to be their division is obviously insane. It's very hard. And I think their situation has kind of like deteriorated a little bit to the extent like weapons room is obviously worse. Can't stay healthy. The defense is aging. Bose is getting older. Fred Warner's getting older. They keep getting injured as well. Trent Williams is probably on his way out of here. And he is very, very, very important to the offensive line. Christian McCaffrey is getting up there in age, and him being healthy all year, especially with his load, is really ridiculous. I don't even know how he did it. But that was extremely impressive for him to stay healthy with how much he was a part of this offense. He was the best player on this offense by a mile. So it's hard to consistently compete in this league, and they have to retool this roster to get younger, to get cheaper, and so their ceiling, not their ceiling, but their window, I think that it's not closed right now, especially with Kyle Shanahan at the helm, but it's definitely not as open as what we thought it might have been a few years ago. So they got a lot of work to do in the offseason. Brandon Ayuk is going to be gone. Ricky Pearsall has shown flashes, but I think he can be. He's a wide receiver too at best. They don't have like a X guy. They're gonna have to replace running back at some point.
Ricky Pearsall also can't stay on the field either, regardless. Like take away the gunshot situation, like he still don't be on the field like that either. So it's like they have to draft off. Like they have to get some offensive pieces. It should be running back, wide receiver, lineman. This whole draft, whole free agency, because things are getting real bleak in there.
But yeah. But as far as the Seahawks, they look like I think right now the Seahawks are probably my favorite to win the Super Bowl. Their defense is ridiculous. Well, I don't know. It depends on Sam Darnold because we got to see how much the injury is hurting him. The passing game wasn't that great. He only threw the ball 24 times this game. Obviously, the rushing game with Kenneth Walker was amazing. If Sam Darnold is healthy, though, I think that probably be my favorite.
He threw a 17.
I'm sorry?
He only threw a 17.
No, he threw 24, I thought, and he completed 17.
Nah, he completed 12.
Oh, word. Okay. Well, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's even worse. So like it depends. Their fate hinges on whether Sam Darnold, how hurt he is, how much he can throw the ball. Because they're not a dominant enough rushing attack to just lean on that against the top teams in this league. But I think, and again, it all depends on how healthy Sam Darnold is. But I think the Seahawks are a better team than the Rams because they're a more complete team with their defense, and obviously their offense is electric. And they just washed the 49ers. So they're probably my Super Bowl favorites, pending health. I don't know with Sam Darnold, but a overly dominant performance in them. Not much to say. They dominate from start to finish. I mean, Rashid Shaheed literally he had a kickoff return on the first play of the game, and ever since that, it was over. So I don't got much to say about them, but they're my Super Bowl favorites right now.
Yeah, on the Rashid Shaheed thing, when he got traded, I know everybody was like, "Oh, that's a great move," and obviously it was, but like he didn't do much once he got there, and then he popped off against what was that? Either the 40 that was against the Rams. He flipped the Rams game. So like they got their value. They traded a 3rd round pick or a 4th round. They got their value just off that Rams game alone because that basically got him the 1 seed. And then he flipped, basically won the game off the first play. So they got their value when that was great. If they win a Super Bowl, that was amazing for them. With this Seahawks team, obviously, like I could be corny. They say it's like reminds me of the Legion of Boom type that season where like the defense pretty much carried. They ran the ball and the quarterback wasn't as detrimental as what you thought. Like obviously at the time it was a young Russell Wilson. This is not a young Sam Darnold, but a still kind of unproven Sam Darnold, especially in a playoff setting. Do the Lombardi test. Can you see Sam Darnold holding the Lombardi? I can't.
Oh, I mean,
but the thing is, he don't gotta hold it up there because
you can't see Jared Stidham. You can see. I guess you can see May. Obviously, you can see May.
I can see Drake May and Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Sam Darnold don't have to hold the trophy. You know who's gonna hold the trophy? JSN or Mike McDonald. Like those, they're gonna be holding the trophy. Sam Darnold gonna be like this. like that's probably what's gonna happen. They're probably gonna, if they beat the Rams, they're probably gonna be the overwhelming favorite to win the Super Bowl. Like they probably already up now, but like I think everybody's just gonna be on the Seahawks. Like they don't want to, but they just will. It doesn't even matter that Sam Darnold's not healthy and or trusted in the playoffs. It's just you trust that unit way more. That was probably the story of the season for like the NFL in totality is that these defenses, like the top defense, really backpacked most of these teams. Like you trusted a lot of teams because of their defense, not necessarily because of their offense. And look what happened. Like we've seen the Texans, we've seen the Seahawks. Like they did their thing. Obviously the Patriots. Like the Seahawks is nuts. We don't got great season from them. Who would have thought? I had him in like 4th. I didn't have him as a bad 4th place team. I just had him as like a 9-8 Sam Darnold led Seahawks team where they was playing with house money and they pretty much blew everybody's expectations.
I think I had him probably 2nd or 3rd.
You had him 3rd.
Yeah.
I had him 4th because I had Arizona winning on some nonsense.
Just
throwing something out there.
All right, that's gonna do it for our divisional round recap. We're gonna come with you with the NFC and AFC championship predictions here pretty soon, and then obviously getting into some NBA stuff as well here pretty soon. So if you made it this far, thank you guys for watching. It's getting late. We love y'all, and we are out.